Ha! Well, Monday. Lots of stuff happened. Some emotional things. A lot of emotional things, actually. It was Raw. Not that far out for WrestleMania. Some new matches got signed on. We're going to talk about Canadian guys here. D.A Wrestling. Let's get at her. All right, on today's show, we're going to talk this new favor all of a sudden that Paul Heyman has. This guy's just lining up favors. Seriously, right? Rhea Ripley gets her title match at WrestleMania against the other two girls that we called weeks ago. A couple other matches were signed. One just is just weird, right? Tag team title match on the line. IC title match on the line for the women. Very emotional promo. And we're going to talk all that. Raw in a nutshell. This is D.A Wrestling. Before we get started, though, guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe down below. Content here. So small click for you, large click for us here on DA. We appreciate you. Don't forget, we are Canadian content, guys. We are Canadian folks doing wrestling here in the Great White North. Let's go. All right. Let's start this off, though, let's start this off with Paul Heyman. The end of the show. A very interesting cliffhanger. Paul Heyman comes out. He gets the last thing of the night. He comes on out. He first acknowledges the fact that he will always be loyal to Roman Reigns, the wise man. He will be. But then, he will always be loyal to his best friend in the world, CM Punk. And that's when Seth Rollins showed up. We thought it was going to be this whole explanation thing of what he was going to do. At least that's what it seemed. That's what they led on to believe. But it wasn't. Seth comes down, basically starts implying that you can't be trustworthy for any of these guys. Roman Reigns doesn't like you. He doesn't respect you, right? Punk just uses you, stuff like that. It's almost the same thing that he said about Roman. And then Seth's going right into heel mode here. Says, I'd be honored if I just took you out of the equation. Basically, letting just those three go at it and Paul Heyman nowhere near WrestleMania. Right? He starts touching Paul. Paul doesn't like it. He kind of fights back, as whatever you want to call that, as fighting back, because it's Paul Heyman. Let's be honest. He's not Roman Reigns. He's not CM Punk. He's not any of those guys. Right? And then Punk comes out, and attacks Seth Rollins. As Punk, they fight all the way to the outside of the ring. Punk gets the upper hand on Seth Rollins. He tries to go for a stomp onto the steel stairs. Seth moves out of the way, rolls back in the ring. Punk goes after him, and he gets stomped for his troubles. And as Paul Heyman's laying there going, oh my God, no, not CM Punk now. Seth Rollins goes up and just narrowly stomps his stomp inches before his head, looks at Paul Heyman, picks up the mic and says, now you owe me a favor. There's favors galore going around here. Unbelievable. So the question you got to ask now is, where's this heel turn going? Obviously, they want Seth to play the heel here, because obviously he's probably the bad guy of the whole thing, right? There's no way he's going to get out cheered by over Punk and Raw and Roman, right? And Rollins did a lot of heelish things. He basically pointed out the fact that, hey, where was Roman Reigns when you got the crap kicked out of you in front of your kids in your home state by Solo Sikoa and the rest of the bloodline? Where was Punk? All these things. You gotta wonder what this is, what this favor would be. I mean, it couldn't possibly be Rollins have Heyman in his corner. Couldn't possibly be that, is it? Like, you don't think it would be just, could it be the obvious, right? Could it be the obvious of just saying you're just banned from ringside? But what if it is? What if, now this is clearly hypothetical. What if Heyman is banned from ringside, but comes down later on in the match, and instead of being there for CM Punk and Raw and Roman Reigns, he helps Rollins win. I know. Comment down below if you think that's insane. But what if Paul Heyman doesn't turn on Roman, doesn't turn on Punk, but turns on both of them, and then goes with Rollins instead? What if Rollins is the new Heyman guy? It's something different. Seth probably doesn't really need him, though, to be honest with you. But what if? What if Seth Rollins gets Paul Heyman and automatically Rollins gets that title back and goes on a bit of a run like he did last year until he lost to Drew? Right? What if those things happen? Now, this clearly is pretty hypothetical. I'm not saying it's going to happen. But what if that does? Is it possible? Is it possible that Seth Rollins leaves WrestleMania the victor and with Paul Heyman? Like, what is this favor? Like, the favor can either be he's in the Seth's side, Seth's corner, or is you're banned from ringside. There's only two favors you can really think of here. Right? But if he's banned from ringside, is it possible he's going to be helping him? Or does Paul say I'll be banned from ringside, and the favor is that he has to help, he helps Rollins and turns his back on both guys? All I know is his favors galore. Anyway, moving on. Comment down below if you guys think that's interesting or not, because that's kind of like, what if? Like, what if? There's more to this than we think of. I swear there's more to this. Moving on. For weeks now, myself as well as Doug have said this is probably going to be a three-way match for the women's world title. Obviously, that was where they're going, and that's where it came to be today. Tonight, the women's match for three-way for the women's world title at WrestleMania between Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley has been signed. It is set. It is there. Right? And still a disrespect to Io. Like, Io's still not getting respected. And she's fighting back, more so now than before. They made the match about Rhea and Bianca, and Io's just there. Io ends up, Rhea signs the contract. Bianca Belair signs the contract first. They're yip-yapping against each other. Io tries to get her mouth in. They stick her away. Io's about to walk off. Pierce is like, you can't leave. You need to sign the contract. She signs the contract. Right? Then kicks Rhea in the back. Rhea lands into Belair. They fall down. Right? They say, see you at WrestleMania, and she leaves. It says, thank you to Pierce very nicely. In my humble opinion, here in Canada, on D.A Wrestling here, I honestly think that Io's going to win. I don't think Rhea's going to win at all at this point. I did in the beginning, but now as I see it progressing, I see Io the one being the victor here. I do not see Belair winning at all. I think Belair, he's kind of like on loan from SmackDown. Right? So I can see her going back to SmackDown after this is done. They want to do the whole Rhea match. Obviously, not going to be them one-on-one like people probably want, but hey, you'll probably get that eventually somewhere down the line anyway. But I think this is a match for Io to win. Not a prediction yet, because that's coming soon. Prediction videos will coming soon. But It is possible that I think Io Sky ends up winning this match and walks out women's champion. Last year she lost the title at WrestleMania. This year she's going to win the title, keep the title at WrestleMania, and walk out of there. Walk in and walk out. Also announced. Now it was announced this morning, or this afternoon, on social media, on X, through Adam Pearce's Twitter account, and they made it official really tonight here on Raw. For the men's IC title, a fatal four-way, which I called last week. This is going to be Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor versus Braun Breaker versus Penta for the IC title, fatal four-way, WrestleMania. A right? This really exciting match at Raw. Right? They had having a point there with Finn going, I can't believe we're both in the match. This is crazy. They was like, I know, isn't it great though? Like both have a chance to walk on this, walk out, and bring the title back to the front, back to the club. There you go. Right? Dominic Mysterio proved a point, wanted to prove a point that he ended up going against Penta tonight in a match. Right? Kind of ended in just a no DQ there. Happens. Braun Breaker came out. Right? Speared everybody. Balor was nowhere around. Eventually, Balor ends up coming in, taking out Braun Breaker briefly, right? Before Braun Breaker recovers and almost spears the hell out of Finn Balor. He leaves. And he's just staring at him like he's, just going to kill him. Are we going to see the end of the Judgment Day here at WrestleMania? Probably, possibly, right? Is it possible, too, that Dominic Mysterio walks out with the IC title? Because I don't think Braun Breaker's going to walk out with it. Right? I think they want to do something else with Braun Breaker at this point. Right? But is it possible Dominic Mysterio walks out with the IC title? Or Penta does? Yes. I don't think Finn Balor's going to win. In fact, if anything, I think Finn Balor's going to get screwed by Dominic Mysterio and Dominic's going to win. But we'll find out more. So, we also had another match announced tonight on Raw. Now, this one's there's a three-way match with the LWO versus American Made. And here with American Made, it wasn't Chad Gable. It was El Grande Americano. Later on in the match, right? Later on, Rey Mysterio goes in the back. He wants to talk to Adam Pearce. Says, out of respect and all that stuff, I'd like to have a match, right? With El Grande Americano. He feels disrespected because all the years he's been fighting in Lucha Libre and all that stuff, he felt disrespected by this fella. So, he asked for a match at WrestleMania against El Grande Americano. Not Chad Gable, El Grande Americano. To which American Made's Chad Gable came out later on in the night, just before the Paul Heyman segment, and announced El Grande Americano accepted. Look, if you don't think this is Chad Gable, then seriously. Seriously. It's nice to see Chad Gable get a WrestleMania match. It really is. Right? A singles match at WrestleMania, it's awesome. I'm not against Rey Mysterio, but I really feel that you could have put somebody else in here against El Grande Americano or Chad Gable, whatever you want to do it. I'm not too sure. Like, I'm not off the top of my head. I'm not thinking anything too sure. Like who you could have done it with. You could have done Dragon Lee or something like that. You could have done, you know, somebody else. But I guess Rey's a good. I'm not saying it's against Rey Mysterio. I like Rey Mysterio very much. I've watched him for 20, 25 odd years. If probably longer. Actually, he's probably more like 30. Right? But I just don't feel this was like one of those matches going to put on night one as a filler. Like it doesn't get me excited. I see this. Oh, Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano, aka Chad Gable. That's the point of the WrestleMania probably where I go take a pee break. or go to the bathroom for a while. Perhaps read the paper, play some video games, something. Eat some more wings. One of those things. I'm sure people have the. I'm sure it's gonna be a very good match. Don't get me wrong. I think they're both very talented individuals, especially Rey Mysterio. Guy's been doing it for over 30 years at this point. But it doesn't really get me excited for it, right? The other matches we announced tonight, the four way, the three way, the Reigns off the Reigns Roman, the Reigns Rollins Punk match, Cody versus Cena. Those matches are I'm excited for. This kind of just there. But hey, that's what you want to do. Cool. Give Rey Mysterio a match. Sure, no problem. I respect. Awesome. But in my personal humble opinion, I think we could have went to somebody else, like the Wyatt Six, or they're not on Raw anymore. You know what I mean? Could have done something else. Speaking of factions and groups and tag teams, there was a tag team title match tonight on Raw. Right? A match that I thought was going to be around WrestleMania. I was clearly wrong on that. Or was I? So, tonight on Raw, we got a tag team title match. We got the War Raiders put the tag team title line versus the New Day. Now I'm thinking to myself, wow, they really thought it was going to be WrestleMania. All right, let's see how this goes. Good match. War Raiders dominated for the most part. But at one point, Kofi brings in a chair. He ends up pulling like an Eddie Guerrero kind of crap, right? Ivar gets caught with the chair, right? He hits him with the chair, gets caught with using it, and he's like, oh! Referee calls the match, no DQ. New Day wins, and then the New Day proceeds to beat the living crap out of the War Raiders. Takes them out completely. So it looks like we're going to get this match at WrestleMania then. 1-on-1. Oh, sorry. 2-on-2 tag team title match. Probably WrestleMania. Probably going to crown the New Day. I mean, it's more than likely it's probably where it's going to go. Right? But, right? It shows where they're showing with the New Day right now. The New Day is trying to be more and more heelish. All those things. Get ready for that match. It'll probably show up. Also on Raw, we had a women's IC title match. Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria. Now, I kind of like where this guy lately going. They're showing the IC women's title more and more nowadays. Like they're really pushing a lot of the women's US title on SmackDown. But lately, more so, they're starting to push more of the IC title women's ring, which is good. Right? Very good match tonight. Very obviously like probably one of the best matches of the card tonight. Right? It was in Minnesota. Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria. And I honestly thought they're going to pull the switch here, pull the title off her. That was actually going to happen. Where they're going to pull at one right before the end of the match, last sequence there. Bayley had Lyra Valkyria literally in the lion tamer, the original lion tamer that Chris Jericho used to do back in WCW days. You know, where you want to put some guy basically straight on their neck. For the most part, he had Lyra in there most times. Right? Eventually, though, Lyra ends up winning with a quick roll up. Right? Most devastating move in all of pro wrestling. Right? Which leads you to wonder what they're going to do, though. Because obviously, you're going to want to have the women's IC title as well as probably women's US titles on the line in some faction at WrestleMania. Like the new titles for the women, they want to have them showcase somewhat at WrestleMania. So I'm wondering here what they're going to do if they're going to have another go with Bayley and her. This is a very good match. I highly recommend you go and watch it. Right? A lot of spots between both girls there. Lyra really showing off her wrestling skills. Bayley really selling the hell out of her. Bayley being Bayley. Anyway, following Bayley's career, she loves to work with both people, makes each other look good all the time. Right? Highly recommend doing it. Right? But Lyra ended up winning. Barely. Right? So it makes you wonder how they're going to do this. If they're going to keep on having her as this fighting champion, right? Put her through more obstacles. Right? Obviously face Bayley tonight. Who are you going to face at WrestleMania now, right? Or is it going to be Bayley again? maybe with somebody else in there, or what are they going to do? We're going to find out. Also, in that funny part tonight, we had AJ Styles, right, be confronted by Karrion Kross, right? Karrion Kross saying you have to beat Logan Paul. You have to beat Logan Paul, right? You have to do it. You can't let this guy win. We need the old A. We need this old AJ Styles, the old one, the old AJ. It's like, oh, he's like, I will show you next week. Me and you next week. I'll talk to the other people. I'll show you next week the real AJ. Right? Cross being all cross, like going, yeah, it's good to work. Karrion Kross is a national treasure, folks. He really should be. Now, apparently, this man is working, coming close to the end of his contract. I really hope they re-sign him because he's doing fantastic work right now in WWE. He really is. Now let's get to the emotional part of the night. Uh, so if anybody watched SmackDown last week, sorry, Raw last week, you saw Jimmy Uso get dismantled by Gunther. Bloodied up. Jay watched him get the crap beat out of him. This week, Gunther comes down in a red power tie like a certain individual down south. Um, as they want to call it. Justin Nines, very sophisticated looking. Before Gunther can really get a word out, Jay Uso comes down. Gunther doesn't really talk at all this entire thing. Doesn't say a word, not even a fart. And Jay goes over to him and just says, yeah, family? Did your mom talk to your mom? No. She asks how the kids are. No. How's the wife? Then Jay starts going into how's it? I talked to my mom's. I had to explain to her why Jimmy was busted open, bleeding profusely with staples in his head and all those things. Proceeds to say that I'm going to beat. Oh, I'm going to hope you get rest and all that stuff there because I am going to beat the ever loving hell out of you for what you did. I'm going to do it for my brother, for my family, and I'm going to take your title. You've never seen Gunther look so concerned ever. Like, he's shown signs of concern, but not like this. This is a different type of concern. This is one of those times where you go, you know you messed up. You absolutely know you messed up. So sometimes some things in life you just shouldn't do. This is one of them. Yes, I'm well aware that the whole thing is scripted, folks. So let's get honest with this. But if this is reality wise, think about it this way. There's that kid when you're in school, whatever, who like to pick on people. And eventually, he did something to somebody who did something to you, but he never hurt you. He hurt somebody who you care about. Then you basically show them, what will really is or what fear truly is. Yeah, that's the kind of look that Gunther had. Jay explained to him, yeah, I'm scared of you and all that stuff. But at WrestleMania, you're gonna see main event Jey Uso. You're gonna see I'm gonna get you. That revenge Jey Uso, the one that we saw when he first joined Roman Reigns. That Jey Uso you're gonna see. I know it's already pretty much determined right now that Jey Uso is probably gonna win this title, but this is very well be probably one of the matches of the night. Where it lies on the card, I don't know. Obviously, both main events are set. Where they are on the card will be interesting. They could be the first match of the show. Could be maybe halfway through the show on night one or two. So we don't know yet. Right? The only thing that's been determined is that the main events for both nights have been determined. That's all we know. Right? But it was a very emotional speech he did talked about it wasn't a play around thing. It wasn't like I was joking around, Jey Uso. It wasn't like he didn't even yeet. His music came down, everyone's yeet, and he didn't do squat. Okay? So this is the Jey Uso we're going to be seeing at WrestleMania. Not a bad thing, actually. You know, really isn't. Anyway, guys, that was Raw. Good times, lots of fun, right? Matches, like I said, matches did get discussed, right? New matches have been signed, so now the card's starting to obviously spread out a lot more now, right? So currently running down the card, obviously you have the WrestleMania matches, right? The main ones. You have Cena versus Cody. You have Punk, Roman, Seth, with Paul Heyman's so-called decision now there, right? We have the fatal four-way for the IC title. We have the women's title three-way in the match. We have Charlotte versus Tiffany Stratton. That mess of a thing. Why didn't they just do somebody else? I like Charlotte. I really do. But you could have just done somebody else. Because the way it's setting up right now is that Charlotte's going to win. For a lot of people, that's not a good thing. It's not a happy thing. I just go watch that segment because it was kind of a crap show. Off script and everything. It was very interesting, to say the least. Anyway, guys, pretty much those are the match cards you have right now. I believe they did also match a tag team gauntlet for the tag team titles on SmackDown, I think it was, for Mania. Or maybe that's next week on SmackDown. Can't remember right now. It's offhand. Been a long day. Anyway, guys, that's Raw in a nutshell. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow us there on all our channels there on TA Sports on TikTok, right? D.A Wrestling on X along with AMP 1982 or D Lions 1991 on X. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Podbean as well as Spotify. We thank you very much for everything, guys. Have a good night. That's Raw in a nutshell. Have a good one, guys. Bye. Whoa, Jesus.